Mars won't kill you. Your body will. It's 2035. You're strapped into the Starship capsule. The countdown hits 0. Engines roar. You're heading to Mars. The first human Mars mission. Your name will be in history books forever. 9 months later, you step onto Martian soil. You plant the flag. Mission control erupts. The world is watching. You're a legend. But something's already happening inside your body. Something irreversible. And by the time you realize what's wrong, it'll be too late. Let me tell you about Scott Kelly. In 2015, NASA sent him to the ISS for 340 days. When he came back, they compared him to his identical twin brother who stayed on Earth. Scott's DNA had changed. His telomeres, protective caps on chromosomes, had lengthened in space, then snapped back shorter than before. His genes related to bone formation and immune function had altered. His body had been rewritten at the cellular level, but Scott was only gone 1 year. Just 250 miles above Earth, still protected by Earth's magnetic field. You're going to Mars, 140 million miles away, for 3 years, in deep space with no protection, and your body knows it. Let's start with your bones. Right now, your skeleton is constantly rebuilding itself. Osteoblasts create new bone. Osteoclasts break down old bone. Perfect balance. But in microgravity, that balance shatters. Without gravity, your body thinks it doesn't need strong bones. The osteoclasts go into overdrive. The result? You lose 1 to 2% of your bone mass every month. Here's the horrifying part. Astronauts on the ISS lose bone density equivalent to what a postmenopausal woman loses in a year, except it happens in 1 month. After 6 months in space, some 3-5 year, old astronauts have bones matching a 60-year olds. Now multiply that by 3 years. By the time you reach Mars, you've lost close to 20% of your bone mass. Your femur is porous, weak. One bad fall could snap it like a twig. But Mars has 38% gravity, you say. Won't that help? Here's the problem we don't know. Nobody's ever lived in partial gravity long term. Russian studies on rats in simulated Mars gravity showed they still lost significant bone mass, just slower. Now let's talk about radiation. This is where it gets deadly. On Earth, you're protected by atmosphere and magnetic field, an invisible shield stopping 99% of space radiation. In space, you're naked. Here's a mind-blowing fact. Every second, trillions of cosmic rays shoot through the galaxy at nearly light speed. When one hits your body, it creates a cascade secondary particles, tearing through tissue like a microscopic shotgun blast. During 9 months to Mars, you'll absorb 500 millisieverts of radiation. NASA's career limit? 600 total. You've blown through it just getting there. But you're spending 2 years on Mars with thin atmosphere offering no protection, another 400 millisieverts, then 500 more on the trip home, total 1,400 millisieverts, more than double NASA's safe limit. What does that do? In 2019, researchers exposed mice to Mars mission radiation levels. 6 months later, the mice showed severe cognitive impairment. They couldn't navigate mazes. Memory problems. Brain scans showed their neurons had physically changed. Dendrites, structures connecting brain cells, had shrunk. Their brains were deteriorating. And the nightmare part? The damage didn't stop when radiation stopped. The decline continued. Even 6 months after exposure ended, they were still getting worse. You're not a mouse, but your brain cells work the same way, and you're exposed for 3 years. your heart is shrinking. In microgravity, your cardiovascular system doesn't fight gravity. Blood distributes evenly. Sounds great? Wrong. Your heart adapts. It atrophies. NASA found that after 6 months, astronaut hearts shrank by 9%. The left ventricle lost significant muscle mass. When they returned to Earth, standing up became a challenge. Blood pooled in their legs. Some fainted. That was 6 months. You'll be gone 3 years. Your immune system is collapsing. In 2019, scientists analyzed astronaut blood samples. The radiation had damaged bone marrow's ability to produce healthy blood cells. Lab studies simulating Mars radiation showed human stem cells lost 60 to 80% of their capacity to generate blood cells. What does that mean? Your body can't fight infections. A simple cut could become life-threatening. Your cancer risk skyrockets because your immune system can't catch and destroy cancerous cells. ISS astronauts reported cuts taking significantly longer to heal, infections persisting for weeks. And that's with low radiation exposure. On Mars, it's exponentially worse. Your eyes are changing. Fluid redistribution in microgravity causes cerebrospinal fluid to accumulate around your brain, increasing pressure. That pressure flattens your eyeballs. Your vision deteriorates. NASA calls it spaceflight-associated neuroocular syndrome. Some astronauts develop permanent vision impairment. Some recover. It's a gamble. Your muscles are wasting. Even with 2 hours of daily exercise, ISS astronauts lose significant muscle mass. On Mars, with 38% gravity, your muscles don't work as hard. They'll shrink. Some astronauts said after 6 months, their legs felt like they belonged to someone else. Neural connections had weakened. They had to relearn walking. Imagine that after 3 years. So, here's where you are. 9 months to Mars, 20% bone loss. 2 years on Mars, radiation accumulating, heart shrinking, immune system crippled, muscles atrophying. 9 months home, more of everything. By the time you approach Earth, you've absorbed 1,400 millisieverts. Your bones lost 30 to 40% of their mass. Your heart is struggling. Your immune system is destroyed. Finally, you make it back. The capsule screams through Earth's atmosphere. Parachutes deploy. You land. The hatch opens. You smell Earth air for the first time in 3 years. And you try to stand. Your legs buckle immediately. Earth's gravity feels like a crushing weight. Your brittle bones can't support you. Your shrunken heart races, struggling to pump blood upward. You're dizzy, nauseous, room spinning. You collapse. The recovery team rushes in, lifts you onto a stretcher. You're carried out. For weeks, maybe months, you'll undergo intensive rehabilitation, physical therapy, bone density treatments, cardiovascular conditioning. Some of it will come back, but not all. ISS studies show even after 2 years of recovery, some never regain full bone density, permanent vision problems, lingering cognitive issues. And you were gone 3 times longer. NASA knows this. Mathematical models predict 62% of astronauts will develop osteopenia. 33% will develop full osteoporosis. They know a 3-year Mars mission pushes the human body beyond its limits. So why send people? Because they're betting on countermeasures. Drugs to slow bone loss. Better radiation shielding. Maybe artificial gravity. But none of it has been tested for 3 years in deep space. We're gambling with human lives. The astronauts who volunteer. They know this. They're signing up to be test subjects. Human experiments. They're heroes, pioneers, but also sacrifices. Because Mars won't kill you quickly. No dramatic explosion, No catastrophic failure. Mars will kill you slowly, invisibly. It'll dismantle you bone by bone, cell by cell, until the person who left Earth doesn't exist anymore. What returns will be someone different, someone weaker, someone broken, fundamentally changed at the biological level. That's the price of being first, the price of reaching for Mars. Your body will betray you, not because it's weak, but because 4 billion years of evolution built you for one gravity, one atmosphere, one magnetic field. And asking your body to survive 3 years without those things is asking it to defy its own design. Mars won't kill you with its cold, or its thin atmosphere, or its dust storms. Mars will kill you by forcing your body to destroy itself, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. The 25th of June, 2024, Inner Mongolia. A capsule streaks through the atmosphere and parachutes down inside. Nearly 2 kilograms of rocks from a place no human had ever touched. The far side of the moon. China just pulled off what NASA, Russia, and every other space agency failed to do for 65 years. They landed on the far side, collected samples, brought them home, and what they found is rewriting everything we thought we knew about the moon. For all of human history, we've stared at the same face of the moon. The other half, completely hidden, locked away by tidal locking. The moon's rotation matches its orbit, so one side permanently faces Earth. The far side remained a total mystery until 1959, when Soviet Luna 3 sent back grainy photos. What those photos showed shocked everyone. The near side has dark plains, ancient lava seas, but the far side, only 1% lava. The rest is absolutely destroyed, cratered beyond recognition. The two sides look nothing alike. For decades, scientists could only guess why. They mapped it, photographed it, but nobody had rocks, nobody had proof. Until China's Chang'e 4 landed there in January 2019, first landing ever. They deployed the U-2 rover and started exploring. But the far side faces away from Earth permanently, no direct communication. So China launched a relay satellite that sits in space, acting as a bridge. Brilliant. Chang'e 4 found weird minerals and buried volcanic rock. But China wanted actual samples. So they launched Chang'e 6 inches, May 2024. June 1st, 2024. Chang'e 6 touches down in the South Pole Aitken Basin, the biggest impact crater in the entire solar system, 2,500 kilometers wide, formed 4.25 billion years ago when a planet-sized asteroid slammed into the moon with the force of 1 trillion atomic bombs. For 2 days, Chang'e 6 drilled and scooped. It collected 1,935 grams of lunar material. Then it launched back to orbit and headed home. June 25th, the capsule landed. The first samples ever returned from the far side. China opened those containers and found something nobody predicted. Fragments of water-bearing asteroids making up 30% of the samples. These CI chondrites are so fragile they almost never survive hitting Earth's atmosphere. But on the moon, preserved for billions of years. Why does this matter? These asteroids are loaded with water, and the discovery proves water-bearing asteroids bombarded the early moon and Earth billions of years ago. Scientists believe these asteroids may have delivered the water that filled Earth's oceans. The water that made life possible. China just found the smoking gun. But that's not all. Chinese scientists analyzed the volcanic basalt and dated it to 2.83 billion years old, proof that volcanic activity on the far side lasted way longer than anyone thought. And the chemical composition showed these rocks formed at temperatures 100 degrees Celsius cooler than near-side rocks. The far side's interior is colder than the near side. The moon has a temperature asymmetry running through its entire mantle. Then, in October 2025, they measured the water content of the far side's mantle for the first time. It's drastically lower than the near side. The two sides aren't just different on the surface, they're different all the way down. Why? The South Pole Aitken impact. That colossal collision redistributed the moon's internal heat. The explosion caused the mantle to overturn, concentrating heat on the near side while leaving the far side depleted. Over billions of years, the near side became volcanically active. The far side became cold and dead. But here's the discovery turning lunar science upside down. In January 2026, Chinese scientists revealed they'd found creep basalt fragments dating back 4.2 billion years, the oldest creep basalt ever discovered. Creep stands for potassium, rare earth elements, and phosphorus radioactive materials that drive volcanic activity. Before Chang'e 6, creep was only found on the near side. Scientists thought it didn't exist on the far side. China just proved otherwise. The presence of both 4.2 billion year old creep-rich basalt and 2.8 billion year old creep-poor basalt means something fundamental changed in the moon's magma source over 1.4 billion years. The far side's geology is way stranger than anyone imagined. Chinese scientists also detected extreme potassium isotope variations way higher than Apollo samples. They confirmed the South Pole Aitken impact altered the isotope composition deep in the lunar mantle. The explosion created temperatures so extreme it vaporized lighter isotopes. For the first time, they obtained ancient magnetic field data from the far side, revealing the moon's magnetic field may have rebounded billions of years ago, critical for understanding how the moon's core evolved. Now, here's what should make you pay attention. China is sharing some of this data. They've invited foreign scientists to analyze samples. 10 international teams, including 5 from the US, presented proposals in Wuhan. But there's a but. All experimental work happens in Chinese labs. Foreign scientists participate in writing papers, but they don't get direct access to the physical samples. They rely on China's published findings, and Chinese researchers are publishing groundbreaking discoveries at a rapid pace. 4 major studies in Nature alone. Professor Mahesh Anand from the UK said these findings are turning many well-established hypotheses in lunar science upside down, necessitating re-examination of many theories. China is rewriting lunar science with exclusive access. Now, let's talk about what's really happening. China isn't just exploring for science. They're building an international lunar research station near the South Pole. Russia, Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, Pakistan, all signed on. Chang'e 7 launches in 2026 to survey for water ice. Chang'e 8 follows in 2028 to test resource extraction, learning how to live off the land. NASA's Bill Nelson has warned this is a new space race. He's concerned China might claim territory and say, "This is ours, stay out." International space law is murky. The Outer Space Treaty doesn't address resource extraction or territorial control of research stations. And the far side? Most valuable real estate in the solar system. Why? It's radio silent. Earth's billions of radio transmissions are completely blocked by the moon. It's the quietest place in the inner solar system. Perfect for radio telescopes, listening to faint cosmic signals. NASA plans to place a radio telescope on the far side in 2027, but China's already there. They've already landed. Twice. Here's what China discovered that they're not emphasizing. The far side preserves a better record of ancient solar system history than Earth. Earth has plate tectonics. Crust gets recycled. Craters erode. The moon? No atmosphere. No erosion. Craters from 4 billion years ago are still there, untouched. And those water-bearing asteroid fragments? They suggest water delivery to Earth was way more common than we thought. These impacts may have seeded our oceans, made life possible. China found evidence of humanity's origin story buried in lunar dust. But here's the question nobody's asking. What else is in those samples that China hasn't published yet? What are they finding that they're keeping classified? Because make no mistake, space exploration is strategic. China's not doing this just for science. They're doing it for resources, territory, leverage, and they're winning. So what is China hiding on the dark side of the moon? Maybe nothing. Maybe everything they've found is already published. Or maybe they're sitting on discoveries that will change everything. Discoveries about water, resources, ancient impacts, the moon's formation. We won't know until they decide to tell us.
And what
by
they
then,
found is rewriting everything
they'll already
we
be
thought we
building
knew about
bases,
the moon. For all of human
extracting
history, we've
resources,
stared-
claiming the high ground. The far side isn't dark anymore. China turned on the lights, and what they found is rewriting everything